With the return of Kelvin, our father and son bond is reignited. I decided that this was no way for us to live. How could Kelvin live atop a mountain for the rest of his life? There's only so many sticks to collect, so many trees to cut down. We need to get out of here. He looks peaceful here, but Daddy's got to think of his future. He's got a doctor's degree to acquire. I make a bow, which would be great to make if I had fucking arrows. After realising this, I decide a spear would be better suited to shank any cunt that comes near Kelvin and I. I tell Kelvin that we're leaving and he needs to follow me, and then accidentally try out the spear on him. It works well. Sorry, Kelvin. We embark on our journey to the beach, heading mainly through the water, because who doesn't love the feeling of wet socks in their boots? Kelvin gives me a heart attack twice because he runs around at full speed for no fucking reason. I spot a monkey man and he seems polite, so I teabag the ground a couple of times as an unspoken trust agreement and keep heading down the river. And finally, we make it to the beach. I look through my loot and decide this is where I want my base to be, so I set up a tent and head to the forest to start collecting logs. And this is where I spend the next 3 hours. Base building in this game makes me want to put my head through the fucking monitor. It's incredibly tedious and just takes way too long. But regardless, I need a place to stay while Kelvin sleeps in the tent. After a good hour and a half of building, I get attacked. Jesus Christ, these guys are assholes. They knew I hadn't saved and came after me and my son. After almost killing Kelvin and myself, I'm filled with a rage so strong it makes Arnold Schwarzenegger look like a prepubescent 14-year-old boy. This guy enters my base and tries to push it over, but he's weak compared to the thick veiny walls that Daddy Cobb has put up. I show him the exit with my axe, and the rage consumes me. I take his head off, even after he's carked it. And then I walk around the corner, only to find 4 more cannibals. I taunt them by throwing their friend's body at them, and then they also decide to hop in my base. Get out of my house, you fucking cretins. I look to Kelvin for help, and he clearly shits himself, because he drops his log and just sprints in the other direction. He's lucky that I've adopted him, because he would just be another number added to Cobb's killing spree if he wasn't my son. I take care of the stragglers and spot another one off in the distance who ran off. No one survives this. Your friends nearly killed Kelvin, and now you pay the price, bitch boy. I get back to Kelvin and spot the Threelegged Lady again. I'm hesitant, but Kelvin doesn't give a single fuck. He just walks straight past her to collect sticks. What a menace. I continue with building my base, and after almost completing it, I see a life raft off in the distance and decide I want to check it out. On the way there, I see a friendly looking fellow who's clearly just resting after a big night on the beers. Without consent, I take his watch and all of his belongings. I'll do anything to make my own situation better, even at the expense of my own colleagues. I head into the ocean and just know that this water is going to be the most shark-infested water the world has ever seen. But surprisingly, I have no issues and get to the raft. I find this guy who has a bit of tomato sauce on his head. I don't know why you do such a silly thing in such a dire situation, but you do you, I guess. After seeing that, he's also taken a long nap. I find the best possible thing I could. A pistol. This makes the game infinitely less scary. I have no worries at all now. The game just gifted me a get out of jail free card if I'm ever close to dying. And of course, as soon as I think I'm safe, I see some sharks in the water, and then something even worse. I check my ammo. I've only got 4 bullets for the pistol. I couldn't kill a fucking spider with 4 bullets. The gift the game just gave me was immediately taken away, and I'm furious. I then get jump scared by something dropping into the water because it was so fucking loud. It sounded like me on the shitter after Tuesday Palmer night. I head back to my base, and the Threelegged Lady is still walking around. After careful evaluation and many months of thinking, I can conclusively say that I will definitely hit that. At this point, I decide that I need to head out from the base, so I head upstream. Carrying the head of my enemies, I test out if it's useful or not by flailing it around in front of a cannibal's face. It's not very useful. I continue upstream and find a lake with an island in the middle. For fuck's sake, I regret not looking elsewhere for a base before spending 8.5 light years on one. This has a built-in moat that would have been very helpful because I can't imagine these cannibals being world-class swimmers. I decide that heading back down is a good idea as it's getting dark. I then spot Kelvin and he brought me a log. Thanks, Kelvin. He points out the obvious monkey men surrounding us. He's a long way from home. I tell him to follow me and get a quick look at a cannibal's rough lid. Then the cunt tries to take my log. No one takes Kelvin's logs but me. I snatch it back off her and throw it at her fucking kneecaps to teach her a lesson in general politeness. I would have been nice to her, but she did take my log after all. I get back to the base and go to bed. After waking up, I decide to add the final touches to the base. And that's when I see these big boys trying to come over. These fuckers are at least 6'8", so I put 3 bullets in his dome before he drops, and pick up what I presume is his foreskin. After that, I put down these benches for Kelvin, and the cunt doesn't even use them, just sits on the floor next to them. He should appreciate my efforts. I give him a tent and some benches. What else does he want from me? Today, we're going to a cave. I'm sick of being the only cunt on YouTube that actively avoids trying to play the game. So we head off. When I get there, I find a golf cart. Wow, I never thought the cannibals would be very active golf players. Now that's a shocker. I head into the cave and I'm greeted by a hallway. At the end of it, there's a 3D printer. Very exciting. I make a flask, a mask, and finally some tech mesh. Whatever the fuck that means. I head to the other end of the hallway, and on the way there, I spot a Roomba. Poor little cunt has been cleaning for absolutely nobody for who knows how long. So I put it out of its misery and continue. I find a door that needs a keycard, which I don't have, but I hear some funky music on the other side, and it piques my curiosity. With that being explored, I head back outside and head for the next point of interest, a colleague's GPS tracker. I get there easily, but there's no signs of him anywhere. So I break my legs by jumping off this fucking cliff and continue looking. There's still no sign of him. Where the fuck is this guy? And that's when I look up. Dude's been hanged. Unlucky G. Next time try and be stronger and just fight off the cannibals. I cut him free and head down. He doesn't have much, just a GPS tracker that is useful for absolutely nothing, and a flashlight which is incredibly useful for absolutely everything. With my 2 goals for the day accomplished, I head back to the base, but not before being attacked and me committing what I would consider a war crime. When I'm back at the base, I start getting treacherously low frames again, and I consider just putting my head through the monitor, but instead, I end the session. Thanks for watching, you cretins. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want more. Cheers, cunts. Have a good one.